battle, I'm facing Old Boy using Armenia with Tylis. I picked Tylis, he counterpicked with Armenia. We had a battle before this, and it kind of pissed me off because he used 10 legionaries, straight up legionary spam, which isn't very fun to play against at all. And if this game was just about spamming the highest amount of the most cost-effective units, then I don't think it would be very fun for anyone. So, in this battle, he went for a pretty infantry-heavy Armenian build with only 4 Persian cavalry, and he has 5 axemen, I believe, and some 5 axemen, 3 Kartli axemen, noble spear general, and 4 hillmen on each flank. Luckily, my build is more than capable of dealing with anything that Armenia can bring. I brought 2 Gallo-Thracian infantry, 2 Oathsworn, 2 tribal warriors, 4 spear warriors, 2 Thracian warriors, and 2 levy freemen on each flank. I also have 6 of these raiding horse, and they are just absolutely awesome units. They should be called trolling horsemen, because that's what they do best. They will be a major pain in the ass for most units to deal with, actually, because they are light missile cavalry, so very few units will be able to catch them. And in the prolonged exchange between these guys and most other missile infantry, these guys will win out because they have pretty decent health, they have high armor, and they have decent shields for being cavalry units. And what they also can do that horse archers can't is that they can just have an attack order. With their good melee stats, you can just give them an attack order, and they will run after enemy units and engage them in melee, shoot at them before they do, especially effective against other skirmishing cavalry. Not many skirmishing cavalry can take these guys on in melee and hope to survive. So most people will try to run away, and that's a pretty bad situation, because then you get your shots in from the rear. Now he's trying to run away with his Persian cavalry, but he's not going to manage to do it. And here, Old Boy makes his first huge mistake. He isn't going to catch light skirmishing cavalry with very heavy shock cavalry. His very heavy shock cavalry doesn't have shields, so this is a very, very poor use of very heavy shock cavalry. He might be able to. He might try to bait me and to kind of herd my units, but I have my guys on. I have skirmish mode off, and I'm just using the debug camera to have nice control over what's happening. So I'll be able to predict the paths he's taking, and then just run circles around, staying away from the red lines of the map. Now he is shifting his. All of his units towards my flank here, and this is something I've kind of had problems dealing with in the past, and I'm not really sure why. I think it might be because it's an unusual tactic. And here you can see the Persian cavalry dropping really quickly. This unit of Persian cavalry is almost destroyed, so these guys are paying for themselves very handsomely. So instead of just rotating and trying to face the line at all times, because that puts you at risk of being charged and then flanked, instead of doing that, I'm just going to pull my guys away any minute now. I just don't want to give it away too early. 1 unit of Persian cavalry is going down. This unit of Persian cavalry is dead. This unit managed to catch one of my guys, but no matter. It's to be expected. Still, I'm pretty happy with how these exchanges have gone. His Persian cavalry isn't going to be able to support his infantry anymore, and when I am done with them, I'll be able to go for rear charges with my raiding horse. So pretty good. I think they still have, yep, they still have ammunition left. And these guys are winded, so they will get slower and slower. These guys are also winded, but they have resistance to the effects of fatigue, so presumably they won't, their speed drop won't be as noticeable. So here I'm just pulling away, rearranging my lines in a way I'm more happy with, a position where I can attack from. And now his guys will be winded going into the battle, so they will have a negative modifier to their melee attack and to their speed. His Persian cavalry isn't really a factor anymore. These guys have run out of ammunition, but he's still chasing them for some reason. These guys haven't run out of ammunition, so I'll be able to run in and deal with these guys. Absolutely love raiding horsemen. They are fantastic units, and even against cataphracts they would be very useful. So here I'm going to shift my spear warriors over to the flanks here. They are going to hold the flanks and attack these Ardiaei men and the hillmen, try to hold them for a while. I'm sending my infantry straight up the middle, hoping to get some good charges off with my tribal warriors against these Ardiaei men. The Oathsworn are going to destroy this unit of Ardiaei men. Over here I'm going to try to hold these axemen with my Gallo Thracians. Should probably work fairly well, because I'm going to get these Thracian warriors into the mix in a little while. So now pretty chaotic engagement is starting. But I have these guys ready to go for his slingers. I'm not too worried about them. I just want to take care of this Persian cavalry first. I could have gone for the slingers now, but I'm going to wait until all of his units are engaged. So here the Thracian warriors are coming. It's going to be pretty important not to eat too many charges with them, because the javelins from hillmen can really hurt these Thracian warriors. And now his guys are tired, so their melee attack stats are going to go down pretty damn quickly when they get into melee. Hillmen of course can't stand up to even spear warriors on the charge. Hillmen can't really stand up to much. They are good when rear charging, but not much else. Axemen are going to disintegrate in the face of Oathsworn, not really be able to do a lot against them. So that's the thing with Armenia. All of their axe units, well, they are pretty decent against heavily armored, like against tribal warriors that have low melee attack and high armor. They are decent. The tribal warriors have very high melee defense, so they won't take a lot of hits, but they are decent. But the problem with let's see if we can bring up an axe. Yeah, the problem with the Ardiaei men, they have a pretty decent melee attack. They have a decent melee defense, but they aren't really able to stand up to. They aren't elite infantry. They are sort of high mid-tier infantry. And against units like Oathsworn, like this Oathsworn unit, while under fire, only took 30 casualties and destroyed a whole unit of axemen. And these Ardiaei men as well, against tribal warriors and spear warriors, they're just going to lose horribly. And they aren't under any sort of missile fire here. And these tribal warriors in shield wall, they're also able to defeat these Ardiaei men fairly easily. Now the raiding horse are coming in and finishing off his skirmishers. His general is going down. The Thracian warriors have been able to get a lot of kills because they weren't charged directly, and that's the end of the battle, I think. So huge mistake at the beginning, charging after these raiding horsemen. He should probably just have ignored them, kept his Persian cavalry close to his infantry and tried to fend them off with slingers, or just gone to ignore my gone to attack my infantry. But just looking at the builds here, I mean, he brought 12 axe units, and while that's all very nice, it's going to be, look at these spear warriors, 118 kills. These guys did very well. All of the units got a decent amount of kills. The Gallo Thracians did okay. The raiding horse did very well for themselves. But I kind of see what Old Boy was going for here with sort of a surprise Armenia army. Well, it's not really a surprise, because they can either go cav skirmish, infantry, or balanced, or they can go for axe rush. And I've seen this build before, I think, used to pretty decent effect. But when the cavalry, the Persian cavalry is gone, this infantry corps just isn't able to stand up to the infantry of Tylis here. And I don't feel bad for Old Boy here for just trolling away all of his cavalry, because he did bring 10 of the same unit in our previous battle, and I don't, even though there isn't a formal set of rules for this is just quick battles, so even though there isn't a formal set of rules for quick battles, it is really nice if people just don't spam single units. It makes it more fun for everyone if there's at least some semblance of balance in the armies. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again on the battlefield.